Hi guys, welcome back to another session of Salesforce. In this session of Salesforce, let's learn about validation rules. So what is validation rules? Validating the given data whether it's right or not. Validates the given data and returns true if it's true or else throws an error message. So how do you go to validation rules? Let's see in demos what we have. Alright, we have a few fields here. Let's go to validation rule is how we go to validation rules. I'm sorry. You have a quick find box, view validation rule. See, you have validation rules here. Click on new and try to validate. Okay. Email val. So what I want to give. So I'm trying to check whether the given email address is right or not. Or else I want to make the email address a mandatory field. So how do you do that? So we have something called as is blank. So these are all the functions. You have number of functions. You have and you have months, you have begin, you have blank value. See, you have all the data here. You can just go through everything here. Okay. So I will also forward you a link in which I'll paste the link right now so that you can check all the validation rules. Okay. So this is blank. So expression, you just need to enter what do we want to check. We want to check email address. We want to make sure that email address is filled. How do you do that? You just always check the syntax to make sure there are no errors. So what happens if there is an error? So let us just copy it, pasting it. Let us check with something else to make you people understand what happens if you don't check the syntax. So I'm taking some value here, saying some text. So I'm entering a field inside a field. So I'm entering a field currency. Let's see what happens. I'm checking the syntax. Field currency ISO is a picklist field. See, it is throwing an error. So this is what happens if you don't check it. Right now again I'm checking the syntax. See, no issues found. Alright, now we can see error message. So this what happens is if this expression is true, that means that if the email address is blank, it will throw an error. So there are two error locations, on top of the page or else on the field. If it's on the field, we can select on the specific field where we want to highlight the error message. So when to use a field and when to use on top of the page. So basically when we use top of the page is where like we have too many rules. Say example, like let's take this demo. We have like 3-4 rules running on the same but different fields, like on the phone number, on the date and the email address. You don't want to individually highlight them. You want to just highlight them on top of the page, stating that please make sure everything is checked. So where do you find all these things? Like when you're trying to enter any data into forms, when you're trying to fill a form, when you enter a mismatched data, you get an error sometimes on the fields and sometimes over the top of the page. So it depends on the error location. So enter the email address, enter the email. I'm just trying to make it simple. I'm saving it. See, it is active. So come here, refresh it so that all the settings are there. I'm testing it. Test val. Alright, I'm not entering anything here. So this is another way of making a field mandatory. By using is blank, we are making a field mandatory. What does a mandatory field do? It does is that it makes sure that there is some data entered into the field. But you can see that this is invalid. It's not a validation rule. It's a field mandatory by the Salesforce team. It's by default it is mandatory. But here it's not a by default red. You can't find any red slash over here. But still, if I'm trying to save it, see it is asking us you need to enter an email. email@email.com. I'm trying to save it, it will save now. Right, see, this is one way of making a field mandatory. So let us look into a few validation rules. This is another link for the practice sake. So I'm pasting it as on our daily notes as well, so that You can just copy this one as well. Now let's close this, enter. See, examples of validation rules. There are 35 pages of it. So please don't try to do something with the rejects. You'll always get some errors and all. So forget about the rejects, leave the rejects part and concentrate on the rest of the items. So you have a lot of different things here. So apart from the rejects, you practice on the different things, like you have and value, or value, we have len. Let's try to do this one. So what it is asking us to do, all right, validation rule, field values, description, validate the account billing slash state is a valid two letter abbreviation if the billing country is US, USA, or blank. So the formula is here. So where do you find the billing country as and all? You have to make sure that you find the right objects to do it. So in account, click on new. You have to check each and every objects to to make sure everything is right. So you have billing address and all, billing street, billing state provisions, billing zip code and all. So I believe this fits the requirement here. So how do you go to validation rules again? View validation rule, new rule. So what is that they want to do? Validate the account billing state. I'm just copying this. So we are done with the demo, so closing it. Validate the account billing state. Want to add description, you can add it. Right. So let us learn few functions. What is and? What does and do? And checks whether all the statements are true and returns true. If not, if it's a false, it will throw an error. So basically that means that if there are two or different statements that you want or two or different rules that you want to satisfy, it will make sure that both the things are satisfied. That's when it will perform an action. If even one is not satisfied, it will throw an error. So here we have and or. What does or do? If there are two statements, if even one is true, it will execute. So there's something called as len. Len is nothing but it is length. It's checking the billing state number less than 2. Not contains. But means that apart from these, if there is anything else, throw an error. So you also have a error message here on error location as well. So you people please make sure you type everything here, because you might get few errors as well. See, basically what happens if you type everything here is that you'll be able to learn a lot of different things. See, you have an abbreviation for it, like what the and logic does. So inside and, what I have is or. Okay, now this is my first or. What it is asking me to do, it is asking or billing country equal to US slash billing country equal to USA. Is blank. We also have an expression called as is blank as well. So how do I do that? Come here, check the billing. What is the first thing? It's billing country. So we have billing country here. Insert. We have a value equals US. It should equal US. Equals US. Comma. We have another expression that we want to check as well. The logic is like, I'm just copying the logic from here, but you people enter it. Now there's another expression. What is the expression? We already worked on this expression. If you see, if you remember, it is blank. Right, is blank. What is the expression that I want to check? It's billing country. So billing country is here. So I'm just copy pasting it. Right. And then what we have another comma here. Right. And again we have an or expression. So going ahead, or, so inside or we have logic. Inside or what we have len. So what is len? Returns the number of characters a string text in a string text. Okay, so len, what is the value that we want to check? It's a billing state. So go here, scroll down, you will find billing state and provisions. It's billing state here, see, and it should be less than 2, less than symbol 2. We're done with another thing, and we have another expression as well. We have not here. Okay, inside the function not, and inside the not what we have is contains. Inside the functionality contains. Right, now what is asking us to do? Not contains, we have a lot of abbreviations here, so I am just copying this and pasting it here. Check the syntax. Oh, see what happens majority of the times when you do this is that you will end up with some errors. So check syntax again. Right, there is no logic, there's no errors here. Now come back to error message. I believe there is a location for our error message. We also have an error message, and the building state is the location. Where we want this is building state semi provisions. A 2-state valid code is required. Saving it. It will be activated. Go to account. Type test1. Now billing state. I'll type in some state. I'm trying to save it. Let's see what happens. Review all messages below your current data. A 2-stage valid code is required. See, so what is a valid code that we have? Do we have ny here? Yeah, we have ny here. So let's type ny and see. That's a 2-stage code. See, still it is throwing as an error. So I believe ny is not here in this example. Let's go right. What we have is al. Let's check with al. Why it is throwing us a lot of errors? Alright, wait a minute. Okay. There is some technical issues that is happening with my system, so this is not letting me not contains this value. So make sure. Let's go to validation rule, edit it. Okay, I've got it. When the billing country is, also make sure the billing country, right, is US. What is the billing country here? US. So it should not blank. Save. Let's check again. There is some problem here that is happening. Just give me a minute. Let me make sure I resolve it. Alright, so I was having some technical issues. I've resolved it. Let's type in NY, that's New York, US. Try to save it. Right, it got saved. See, the billing address New York and the country is US. Let's check with some other rules as well in the next class. See, you have a lot of rules here. You have 35 pages of it. So make sure you practice each and everything so that you learn a lot. Alright, so let's catch up in the next session. Till then, bye bye.